So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had. Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him.
This video is brought to you by Ground.News. We'll get to that in a second. Like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. These people are consistently talking about rhetoric. The rhetoric of Donald Trump. The rhetoric of Donald Trump. Well, somebody tried to take his life twice. One shot him. He actually got shot by somebody once. The other guy wanted to end it all at Mar-a-Lago. And they still pushing this narrative that he's Hitler. And this is the thing that bothers me most about this entire topic. Is that they get on television and they go, we want unity. We want unity. But what you're essentially saying is that half of the country loves Hitler. Half of the country wants to vote for Hitler. And then when you say, when Trump got shot, and you go, oh, we hope for his recovery. You hope for the recovery of Hitler? Like, you guys talking out of both sides of your mouth. You say he's the worst man to ever live, but then at the same time, you're saying you want unity. Then you're accusing American people of voting for a fascist and voting for a leader who's Hitler-esque. But anyway, let me tell you guys about Ground.News real quick. I want you to be informed and up to date on all of your news. And this is why I use Ground.News. People always ask me, Brandon, how are you always on top of this stuff? Because I go to sources that are not just biased, right? We got the left, the center, and the right. And this is the a synopsis there. You can just look at the way they cover it, right? Go to the left. These are the articles. Here's why Trump Hitler praise is so dangerous, according to Harris. They're alluding to the fact that he's praising Hitler. John Kelly says Trump told him more than once that Hitler did some good things. This is how they covering this, right? Then you go to the right, people on the right, and it says Kamala Harris uses sketchy Atlantic hit piece to smear Donald Trump. You see the difference? The right and the left are covering this very differently, and you need to be in tune. Also, I want to tell you guys about this other thing that's really cool on here is the blind spot. So this is the thing that you want to pay most attention to because so you don't get blind spotted, right? So for the right, these are things that are occurring that the right-wing media or right people who are conservative are not paying attention to. Here's the thing that the left is not paying attention to. And therefore you can make sure you're up to date on both sides of the spectrum. So then I want you guys to go to ground.news/Tatum, subscribe through my link and get 40% off the Vantage plan, which is the plan that I use for unlimited access. Make sure you're informed and a balanced perspective today with Ground.News. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to Kamala knee pad two-tone Harris and listen to what she said about Donald Trump. Now, think about this. I want to put this in perspective, and this is the hour of desperation for them, right? Why would you hold a conference, a press conference, to peddle a lie that's unverified by a guy who clearly hates Trump? This is where y'all at today. Instead of you getting up here and telling us how your economic plan can actually help America, how are you going to actually get them to pass higher taxes on the wealthy? How are you going to actually get the wealthy to pay their fair share? Ma'am, what are you going to do about Israel? What are you going to do about wars? Why can't you get on the podium and tell the people, the American people, about your hopes and dreams and what you plan to do for them? Not coming through and looking like a desperate woman that just ran out her side dude's house. Look at her. Look how disheveled she looked coming out there. Look like somebody's side piece. And you gonna come snitch on your side dude. You finna come tell on him so his wife can see. Like, that's how desperate and weird she look on this. Y'all gotta stop over delivering this false message that Donald Trump is somehow Hitler. Like, at some point people are like, y'all really ain't got nothing else to say? Hitler? He's going to be a dictator on day one? Really? He already had a day one. 4 years of it. Anyway, roll the clip.
So yesterday we learned that Donald Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, a retired four-star general, confirmed that while Donald Trump was president, he said he wanted generals like Adolf Hitler had.
You know they losing, bro. John, can you write this letter so we can do a press conference 10 days before the election? This is not come out. I don't know if anybody says nothing about this Hitler thing until right now. Now he comes out with a op-ed or something.
He commented more than once that, that Hitler did some good things too. And of course, if you know history, again, I think he's lacking in that. But if you know what Hitler was all about, it'd be pretty hard to make an argument that he did anything good.
So what would you say when he said to you that Hitler did a lot of good things?
Well, I tell him that. I said, if you first of all, you should never say that. But if you knew what Hitler was all about from the beginning to the end, everything he did was in support of his racist, fascist life, philosophy, so that nothing he did you could argue was good. It was certainly not done for the right reason. And but he would occasionally say that.
What would he say when you would lay that out to him?
He just, that would be the end of the conversation usually.
And now she has to do a press conference.
Donald Trump said that because he does not want a military that is loyal to the United States Constitution. He wants a military that is loyal to him. He wants a military who will be loyal to him personally, one that will obey his orders even when he tells them to break the law or abandon their oath to the Constitution of the United States. In just the past week, Donald Trump has repeatedly called his fellow Americans the enemy from within, and even said that he would use the United States military to go after American citizens. And let's be clear about who he considers to be the enemy from within. Anyone who refuses to bend a knee or dares to criticize him would qualify, in his mind, as the enemy within, like judges, like journalists, like nonpartisan election officials. It is deeply troubling and incredibly dangerous that Donald Trump would invoke Adolf Hitler, the man who is responsible for the deaths of 6 million Jews.
Oh, y'all. The irony of this is insane to me. They're saying that this man is trying to personally use the military and do all this other stuff against the citizens. They installed this woman. Nobody voted for Kamala Harris to be the presidential nominee. Not one vote. To me, that's a threat to democracy. Not one person voted for her. The bureaucrats selected her. The people had no chance, no candidates, no competition, nothing. They just said, we're going to pick her to run the country on our behalf. And this woman, it's so crazy to me. I don't know how they don't get sued over this stuff. He wants the military to be for his personal use. They have no evidence that Trump said any of this. No video recording, no audio recording. They have no evidence that Trump actually said this. They are holding a press conference because a man wrote an article and said that he said this. They have no evidence. They just flat out said that he said he want people like Hitler had.
And hundreds of thousands of Americans. All of this is further evidence for the American people of who Donald Trump really is.
You're losing.
This is a window into who Donald Trump really is. From the people who know him best. From the people who worked with him side by side in the Oval Office and in the Situation Room. And it is clear from John Kelly's words that Donald Trump is someone who, I quote, certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, who in fact vowed to be a dictator on day one and vowed to use the military as his personal militia,
talking points,
to carry out his personal and political vendettas. Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable. And in a second term, people like John Kelly would not be there to be the guardrails against his propensities and his actions. Those who once tried to stop him from pursuing his worst impulses would no longer be there, and no longer be there to rein him in. So the bottom line is this. We know what Donald Trump wants. He wants unchecked power. The question in 13 days will be, what do the American people want? Thank you.
No question. She didn't answer any questions. Didn't say, nobody can ask her, well, where do you get this John Kelly stuff? Where's the evidence? Did he have a recording? Is this just hearsay? You know, they had this talking point that he want to use the military against the people. He can't. The government doesn't work like that. He want to be a dictator on day one. The government doesn't work that way. How can a president be a dictator? There's co-equal branches of government. He can't put a law into place. It has to go through Congress. What is he can't change the Constitution. He can be impeached and removed from office. All right, let's go to Jean Pierre because she's stupider than this woman. The stupidest woman on planet Earth is Jean Pierre. Well, she top 10.
Is the president aware of John Kelly's assertion that Donald Trump meets the definition of a fascist and that Trump wanted the kinds of generals Hitler had?
I mean, look, you have heard from this president over and over again about the threats to democracy, and the president has spoken about that. You've heard from the former president himself saying that he is going to be a dictator on day one. Okay,
they keep repeating that. Nick, he's going to be a dictator on day one. Let's go to he's going to be a dictator on day one clip. Let's hear what Donald Trump said, that they're saying he's going to be a dictator on day one. Listen.
Issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
He's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution.
I'm going to be. You know, he keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no. Other than day one, we're closing the border." And we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president. All right.
They take this. See, he said he's going to be a dictator on day one. Well, if you believe he's telling the truth about what he said he'll be a dictator on day one, and then he's not going to be a dictator no more. Only on day one. So that means day two, he's going to be a dictator for 24 hours. Then he's going to relinquish his dictatorship. Like, what are y'all going to do? Y'all think he seriously said that? Then you got to seriously consider everything else he said. Donald Trump is going to be a dictator. And you can't make this stuff up, man. You can't make this stuff up. And Jean Pierre goes on to say the rest of this stupid stuff.
This is him, not us. This is him. And it's not just us, the White House, saying this. You've heard it from officials, former officials that worked for the former president.
That hate him.
Say this as well. So, you know, do we agree? I know that the vice president just spoke about this. Do we agree about that determination? Yes, we do. We do. Let's not forget, I will point you to January 6th. What we saw on January 6th. 2,000 people were told to go to the Capitol to undo a free and fair election by the former president.
How is this not defamation? Donald Trump did not tell them to go into the Capitol and riot. He said, peacefully and patriotically, let your voice be heard.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
That's what he said. Y'all have no evidence that he said anything other than that. That's what he said. That's what he tweeted. There's a record of it. Then when the stuff hit the fan, he also came out and said, go home.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it. especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
This is not how we do things. Go home. What are you saying? When did he tell them to go riot at the Capitol? You have no evidence of that. And they just say it repeatedly. They just say it.
It was a dark, dark day in our democracy.
It was a dark, dark day in our democracy. Let's get a little glimpse of this. Let's get a glimpse of the dark, dark day. Just an excerpt. This is a dark, dark, dark day. There's some fighting going on. I'm just showing you a little bit of it from this perspective, because nobody wants to play every perspective. They only show a little fighting outside. That's a police officer, and it's a dark, dark day. And I'm like, they just letting people in and out. They just walking out. They're just walking out. Nobody had a weapon, mind you. Nobody had a weapon. Nobody had a gun. It's such a dark, dark, dark day. People are coming in, coming out. They got American flag. They standing around. This is such a dark day. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Like, this is the worst day ever. Just look at these people. Oh my God, they're taking over the country. Such a dark, doomsday. It's so dark in there. Maybe she meant literally dark, like the lights are off. These are cops just walking out. There's a cop. There's a police officer. These are cops. They ain't even talking to people. They're not getting attacked. They're just walking out. This is the dark day you talking about? We going to keep going? What? Like, single file line. Cops just sitting there letting them in. They're not resisting them. They didn't fight a single cop in the building. Did they? I don't see them fighting a single cop in the building. There was a skirmish outside, no cop in the building. They propping the doors open. I mean, I'm not discounting the fact that some cops got hurt and there was some fighting going on in illegitimacy. And I think everybody that fought a cop should go to jail for putting their hands on the cop, period. But you're talking about these random people just walking in this place. These are all a threat to America. These people just walking around. Just walking around. Doing nothing. Don't have a weapon. Dark day in America. No. A dark day in America is Sandy Hook. A dark day in America is Timothy McVeigh. A dark day in America is 9/11. A dark day in America is the Virginia Tech shooting. 32 people lost their lives in a handgun. Uvalde. That's a dark day. 19 babies slaughtered. Coast Range. AR-15. No mercy. That's a dark day. Nobody died here except Ashley Babbitt. And then if we go look at that video, the cops were just standing in front of the door. Then they moved. And they're just standing next to her. They didn't try to pull her down or nothing. This guy's in the window like this. It's people walking behind him. Nobody got their gun out but him. He the only person that got his gun out. Shoots her in the neck, she dies. How did people leave the Capitol building? How did people leave? They just walked out. There was no National Guard deployed. There was no police tear gas or nothing in the Capitol building. They just left. They came. It got squirrely in there. Nobody had a weapon. Nobody could, and they left. And then they finished the vote the same day. Certified the election. Joe Biden got in. Trump moved his bags out. I just can't stomach the hypocrisy and foolery. You can say it was a riot that got out of control on January 6th. Yeah, I agree with you. People should go to jail over that. Yeah, I agree with you. Some people should. If you put your hands on a police officer, you should go to jail. It's just the law. If you're one of these random people just walking in the building, you should get arrested for trespassing. That's it. That's it. Cops letting you in. Trespassing. That's it. If you somehow coordinated an effort to overthrow the government, you should be in trouble. But when you got the president saying peacefully, patriotically, let your voice be heard, that's not go and burn down the building and go in the Capitol building. And this is the thing that just makes me infuriated, is that hundreds of thousands of people were there. If he told them, go and take over the Capitol, there would be no way they could have stopped 100, 200, 300,000 people. There's no way. So you telling me he said, I only want 2,000 of y'all. No, not y'all. All y'all. Y'all stay put. Y'all be good Christians. Y'all stay here. But I want 2,000. Go. The first 2,000. Go in there. What are y'all talking about, bro? They call this man Hitler, bro. I'm never going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go. When he win, I hope he put all of them in jail that committed crimes. If you committed crime, no mercy, Trump. No mercy on Hillary and them. They committed crimes. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, anybody commit crime, put them in prison if they committed a crime. Because they're fighting fascism with fascism, racism with racism, sexism with sexism. I just can't believe these people get on there and say, Trump said he's going to be a dictator on day one. Have you heard that clip? People watch the clip and say, this is what they're saying, y'all. You would think that Donald Trump said, day one, I'm going to be a dictator, and I'm going to be a dictator for 4 years, and I'm never leaving office. If that man said that, I wouldn't vote for him. He was joking with Hannity and said, on day one, I'm going to be a dictator. Only day one. And then he told what he was going to do. I'm going to secure the border, and I'm going to drill, baby, drill. And then day two, I ain't no dictator no more. Clearly he's joking. You cannot be a dictator in the United States of America. How? You know, when Kamala and them say that, I wish interviewers would say, well, can you explain how Donald Trump is actually going to be a dictator on day one? Given the co-equal branches of government, given the authority of Congress and the Supreme Court, or mostly Congress, to impeach him and remove him from office, can you explain how he's going to actually do that? And can you explain the quote that he actually said? They can't do it. We know they can't do it. Anyway, I'll see y'all on the next one, man. I'm out.